Yeah, the importance of having one spouse or partner in dog breeding cannot be overemphasized. There are so many reasons for it. Take for instance, as the man, I can't be around all the time. So there are a number of times where I'm not in town or I'm outside of the environment or even outside the country. And I'll be worried, what would happen to the dogs? How would they be catered to? What would happen? But having a spouse who understands the dogs, understands breeding, and is actively integrated into it removes all those worries. Because in my absence, my spouse can definitely handle anything. And maybe with just a phone call, and I tell her one or two things to do if it's beyond her, and I'm sure everything is sorted out. In fact, I have an experience when we had our bee litter. I wasn't in town at all. I just heard, oh, the dog had littered, and she had 5 pups, and she was the one in custody of it, and she did fantastically well, and no mortality at all. And there had been a number of litters we've had like that in the past that I wasn't around. So imagine if my spouse wasn't in it, I would definitely come back and meet a lot of chaos, dead puppies all dead and the like, or the dogs malnourished and not being well taken care of. So it has a whole lot of advantage of having a spouse, and I must say that Onyx and Jewels Kennels has benefited from having that arrangement at our kennels.
We run it as a family business. Sometimes I ask the children, go and check on this dog. Has it littered? If it has, fine. The children brings that report. And whenever we have litter, I can't be there all the time. So we take it in turns. Sometimes I go check the puppies, ensure that they are sucking. Sometimes my children go there. And when we also have when they are playing around, the children are also with them. They are very free with these breeds. Though we've had stories of where the Rottweilers attack children, but we've never had any such experience here. So the kids, though we do all this under our supervisions anyway, but by and large, they are children-friendly dogs.
I would love my children to be breeders. We've seen how they do well with the dogs. And one thing about dogs, especially what we've experienced with the Rottweiler breed, is that aside from what we do for them, we also learn a lot from them. You learn how to show love, how to be tender when you have a couple of dogs. And you see how the dogs in turn also reward you by being loyal. The Rottweilers are a very loyal breed. They are ready to sacrifice their life for the security of their owners. And breeding, in a way, is also therapeutic. Sometimes you have a hard day at work and you come home later in the day to just have some few minutes of playtime with your dogs. And it alleviates your stress a lot. In fact, I had a friend in the UK sometimes who sent me a couple of pictures where they're bringing dogs to the hospital to be around patients because of the love, the therapeutic nature it has. So if any of my children wants to go into it, sure, I would encourage them, and they can take the breeding to the next level. Levels where we have not been able to reach as Onyx and Jewels Kennels, their parents. They can move and take it to the next level, and we'll be there to guide them. So it will definitely be a plus for them if any one of them venture into it, because the mistakes, the pitfalls that we have experienced along the line, they won't have to experience that. They will have us as ready guides to help them along the path. So I would definitely encourage them. And the way they are with all the dogs, they are very comfortable with the dogs. They are well socialized with the dogs. They all love the dogs. So I know one or two of them would most likely toe that path of being breeders in the future. So I would encourage them.
They've seen so much and they've learned so much, and I will not want the knowledge to just end there. I love continuity. So if they actually, in fact, they are in love with the dogs. You can even hear one of them say, I will be a vet doctor, I will be a medical doctor, I will be a breeder. The other will say, I will be an astronaut, I will be a breeder. So in everything they say they want to do, you see that breeding is part of what they will love to do. It's beautiful to be breeders. The security, you gain so much, they will secure the environment, then the rewards, the financial rewards too. are fantastic. So I would definitely encourage them to become breeders.
All right, once again, this is Onyx and Jewels Kennels, and our mantra is we remain committed to excellent breeding services. We ensure we maintain excellence in our breeding at all levels, right from when we pick a puppy to when we take the puppy to adulthood and when it's time for breeding. We don't settle for less when it comes to excellence in our breeding. I read an article sometimes published by a European breeder, and it made me understand that for excellence, to get quality at all times, you may have to leave the comfort of your kennels. That stud that will complement your bitch may not just be around. And we have always followed that. Before breeding any of our bitches, we study their pedigree, interact with other breeders who have intended males, we discuss what we want, and we set out. And sometimes we set out on a journey of 6-8 hours on the road just to transport our bitch for breeding and back. And we've always done that because we want the best puppies at all points in time. So we've had, despite the fact that we are far away in Owo, in Ondo State, we go all out to breed our dogs. So we bred our dogs to top quality dogs in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, just name it. We are ready to go the extra mile. Just because of one reason, not that it's comfortable for us, but because we want quality and we want to maintain that mantra, remaining committed to excellence in our breeding services. And we ensure that all our dogs are up to date on their treatments, vaccines, and people see our dogs. And we're proud to say that our dogs have gone beyond the borders of Nigeria, and we've been able to have our puppies get to neighboring countries like Ghana. And we're not stopping there, because we continue to ensure that we want excellence at all times.